welcome along to the AFTV Tactical Insight Show with my man Graham. It's Fist today, man. It's Fist.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And we're unbeaten in 2020.
Unbeaten in 2020. What a great... We are invincible. At the moment. ATM. But listen, it was... on the show today, let me just say, we're going to talk about, first of all, how we beat Leeds, and what caused that turnaround in the second half, and also, how can we beat Crystal Palace? Because we didn't beat them last year, did we? Did we beat? I don't think we beat them at Palace last year.
We drew away and we lost at home.
We lost at home. Yeah. And then you know what I mean, and then we drew with them again this season. Yeah. And they've been getting a lot of results out of us. So that's a big game for us. But first of all, Leeds 1-0 to the Arsenal, that old school clean sheet, like you said. Yeah. But the first half.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I mean, I watched it. I got home from work. I was just working late Monday night, so you were at the game. I got home, had to put up with bloody Danny Murphy. Spent the whole of the first half saying Jacka should be sent off. How many more tackles is he going to, fouls he going to commit before he's sent off? And that's just lazy punditry. Danny Murphy, you know, the BBC, I pay my licence fee for the BBC to give me a guy to give me insight on the guy, not on the game, not for some guy to spend the whole 45 minutes just saying that's his fifth foul, his sixth foul, when's he going to go off?
I think the problem is, right, is that what I've noticed with the FA Cup, especially earlier on in the third round and things like that, right, is that the pundits so want the underdog to win that they almost go over the top in support of the underdog, right? And we always want underdogs to win naturally, but these guys are paid to be balanced.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right, Robbie. And first of all, I mean, the Arsenal-Leeds FA Cup fixture for me is one of the most iconic FA Cup fixtures. When I was a 10-year-old boy, my dad took me to Wembley to the 72 final when we lost to that great Leeds team 1-0. Alan Clark scored the winner. They had Lorimer, Clark, Jones, Bremner, Giles. I can remember
Lorimer, he used to hit the ball.
He used to hit the ball like a rocket.
So hard, didn't he?
They had a great side. That's their only time they've won the FA Cup. They beat us 1-0 at Wembley when Bob Wilson couldn't play. Jeff Barnett played in goal. We lost that 1-0. I can remember in '91, you remember when George Graham, we won the league, should have won the league invincible, but we lost one game at Chelsea. Should have won the FA Cup, I think, and we gone to Wembley. We lost the Spuds in the semi, even though we were a better team than them. I was at that game. The Gaza free kick.
The Gaza free kick, man.
But we just started sloppy and lost the game because we gave them 2 goals, but we were the better team in the game. But in that run, we beat Leeds. In those days, it was replays. I think we, 91, third round, we had about three replays and beat them. 2011, we beat him again in a replay. And 2012, Thierry Henry, which he said this week was his greatest ever Arsenal goal because he was a fan. Yeah. So we got tremendous pedigree against Leeds United. And Leeds, you say they're the underdogs, and obviously they're the away team, but they're top of the championship. And they did go into this game. They've got a very good coach.
Bielsa, the godfather.
Yeah, fantastic coach. I love the way. And to be honest with you, Guardiola and Arteta swear by this guy, don't they?
Yeah, Guardiola, Arteta, Pochettino, they all say that he's the guy that
and it was interesting,
they learn everything from.
And it's interesting that Arteta briefed the team on how good Leeds were. He'd watched them a lot. They were top of the championship. They played great football. They pressed really well. High intensity, man-orientated pressing, which they did in this game as well. And he said at half-time, he got into it. I can't remember the last time I heard an Arsenal manager screaming at the players. Laka said in his interview after the game, he shouted at us. He was angry. And he said, didn't he, in his after-match comment, maybe they needed to experience it for themselves, how good this Leeds team were. And this Leeds team were good in that first half. And I think the problem Arsenal had is, I just want to touch on the 2 things that I think might have created the problem for us. I think 2 of the things that Arteta's brought to the team is he likes to play with this sort of like inverted right fullback in build-up. So it would be like Maitland-Niles, and he would come into a midfield here with Xhaka sometimes pushing across, allowing Kolasinac to move forward, right? So we play in build-up, in possession with the inverted fullback who comes into midfield. Maitland-Niles is good at that. But he played Socrates at right back in this 4-2-3-1. Were you surprised to see Socrates at right back?
Yeah, very surprised. I mean, very surprised. Listen, obviously he didn't want to play Ainsley because he knows we've got the game against Palace coming up and Bellerin's out. Yeah. And he didn't. Mustafi was another option he could have played there. Because Mustafi's played right back before for Germany and stuff like that, but I think that showed us that he's off. Yeah, it did. So and Socrates was very uncomfortable.
So the problem you have is when you play Socrates at right back, First of all, he's not very good. First of all, he can't play in here. He can't do what Maitland-Niles does. He can't. So when we are playing out from the back, he can't sort of like. First of all, he can't withstand the press. He struggled all game with the press, and he can't move into sort of like support the midfield as an inverted fullback because he's not that way inclined.
That, yeah.
So obviously that was one of the things that he brought to the team, and obviously we missed that in this game. And the other thing we missed, I thought, was obviously Kolasinac normally would be bombing up here, and Xhaka would be filling in, would move over here to fill in. But and also what happens is when Kolasinac is bombing up, Aubameyang, who normally be playing where Nelson is, Aubameyang would come inside, would pull their fullback inside to create the space for Kolasinac on the outside. But I thought that Nelson's inexperience showed. I thought in that first half, Nelson was running in the same lines as Kolasinac, so that wasn't working very well. But for all that, the reason why we were pinned back was, I thought, because we played too deep. Right, this was almost like going back to the Emery days, Robbie. Too deep. The midfield was not close to the attack. The distances were too great. So you had like Guendouzi and Xhaka sitting in front of the defence. So we were like, there was a gap, massive gap between there and our front three. And I'll touch on how we got better in the second half, because in the second half we pushed up 20 yards and Xhaka and Guendouzi got closer to the front three. But at the start, what was happening was Leeds were pressing us high, and they go like a man-orientated press, man-for-man press. It's high-intensity pressing, right? And that's how he plays. And so they were pressing, and we got players like Kolasinac and Socrates, who are not very good at receiving the ball under pressure and playing through the press. But then what you do need is, you need Xhaka and Guendouzi to actually then make themselves available to make angles to receive the ball as well. They weren't doing that. They were sort of like hiding and not looking to receive the ball, or struggling to get into position to receive the ball. I thought we missed Torreira as well in this game.
Yeah, definitely.
Because what Torreira does, the centre-half split and Torreira sits in the middle. And he's also very good at sort of like nicking balls to create transitions, and also in build-up.
Yeah.
So he's been really good. So the players who have been making this Arteta system work over the last 2 or 3 games, and that for me has been Maitland-Niles, Torreira, Aubameyang were missing in this game, and I think that was key in the first half. Now I looked at I've shown you the stats, right? First half, and obviously you can compare the difference between us in the first and the second
First half, Arsenal had 3 shots.
Yeah.
And
Leeds
had 15. And then almost a role reversal in the second half. Arsenal had 13, Leeds had 3.
Yeah.
So definitely a game of 2 halves.
Definitely a game of 2 halves. But in that first half, Leeds had some great chances, and we were indebted to Martinez.
Martinez made some great saves.
He made some great saves.
Yeah.
And I thought, for me, I thought he was our man of the match.
Yeah.
And that tells you.
Not according to Ty in the player ratings. He's giving him a 6.
I thought Martinez.
He was brilliant.
He was brilliant.
Yeah,
he made some great saves. 1 or 2 you'd expect him to make, but 1 or 2 good saves. I think what Leeds have got in Bamford, I have to say, they've got a very intelligent centre forward, but I just don't think he's clinical. And I think when they are going to come up to the Premiership, they've got. I love the way Phillips dropped in.
He's a good player.
In behind when Nelson, Ozil, and Pepe were up, he was dropping between the lines and getting the ball and feeding it forward. And Harrison was excellent. And they've got some very bright footballers, and I think they're going to come up this year, and they are a Premiership
team. And if
team.
they play like that, you want them to come up, because they're going to excite the league.
But the difference is that I think between us and them, when they were on top, they needed a goal. Had they got a goal, it would have obviously put us under pressure, and they would have been more on the front foot. They didn't get the goal, and then what happened was half time came 0-0. They were on top. They were something like outpassing us in that first half 2-1, and we were just sort of like going nowhere. Ozil only had 6 touches in the first 35 minutes, and he was just not in the game. So, and they were just all over us, literally, in that first half. They deserved to be ahead by 1 or 2 goals, but for our goalkeeper and better finishing, they would have been. They hit the bar, and I thought I was really impressed with Leeds. And although you say they were the underdog, they are top of the Championship for a reason. They are, I think, probably better than the lower half of the Premiership. So
the way they played in that first half,
and that's a credit to the coach, who I think has got them really well. He's turned not average players, but he's turned not top players into playing really well in a system, and that's what showed on the night. How did it change second half? I thought second half Arteta got into them, and he said to them, he obviously said he wasn't happy at half time, wasn't happy with the performance, and he said afterwards maybe they needed to experience it for themselves how good Leeds were. I wanted to see him suffer. He said that. I wanted to see him suffer. So when they came out second half, he literally told them to move 20 yards up the pitch. Literally. So in effect, the back four pushed up. Xhaka and Guendouzi got closer to Nelson, Ozil and Pepe. Lacazette, second half, was absolutely immense with his work rate, and he led the team, that focal point again, and he was responsible in the goal in that he was the one who laid it across when Pepe made the turn. But I thought the difference really here in how we played was summed up by Guendouzi. It was absolutely shocking. Now, when he's playing deep, Robbie, when he's playing deep in a pivot, I just don't think he suits him. He doesn't seem to have positional awareness to create angles to receive the ball. But when he moves further forward, look at the numbers. Do you want to look at his numbers second half?
Numbers second half, 18 passes completed, 94.7 pass completion, 2 passes into the box, 2 interceptions, 7 ball recoveries, 1 tackle.
So that second half showed. That's how.
And in the first half, he was terrible.
He was terrible. So that just shows you what did he get in the ratings? Oh, by the way, on the ratings, I've got a bone to pick with you on the ratings.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, all right.
You bring these 2 guys in to do the ratings, and then they give you the rating, you just change it.
No, I don't change it. I'm just like
you weren't doing it.
No, I was just saying to them, listen, Ty gave Martinez a 6. Right? And I nearly fell over because I felt it was between him.
No, but you changed every rating.
Well, yeah, I mean, when people come with ridiculous ratings, man, you got to say, that was madness. 6.
I was thinking,
you're the man of the match, like you said.
Yeah, but maybe Ty should do, Robbie, what's your rating for?
No, he was, what was the other rating? I think he gave
you've always money
Nelson a low score. He was giving everybody like really low scores, and
no, he criticised Troops as well.
Yeah, because some of his scoring was crazy as well. I don't know what was like.
But anyway, look, second half, I think that what happened was we upped the intensity.
Yeah.
We got control of the game in the midfield with Xhaka and Guendouzi further up. Xhaka continues to foul, tactically foul.
Yeah. Why not? Everyone else does it to us.
Exactly. And I thought Ozil was bright in the second half. Got more involved. And I loved the way they goal because I think Pepe was struggling. We were giving the ball to Pepe in tight areas in the first half. Second half, we were creating better angles.
He was causing them a lot of problems in that second half.
And he has got that X factor that he can turn and run at. And give credit to Nelson. Again, because he popped up in you want your wide players to get across the front of the box. And that's a lot of criticism that I've seen aimed on in the media at certain wide players who, I think Rio Ferdinand was saying that they don't get across the box enough. Nelson got across it. He scuffed his shot, but he got in there.
Yeah.
And that was the goal. And I thought we managed the game pretty well after that.
Yeah, we could have won by more after that.
And Lacazette had hit the bar with a free kick. It was a good save by the keeper. We had 1 or 2 other chances, and in the end, I think overall it was a tight game, and I think we deservedly won it.
Deserved it off of it.
Yeah.
So job done there.
Yeah.
It's Palace next.
Yeah.
As I said, that's been a difficult place for us to go to over the years.
Yeah.
Will be difficult. Zaha, although you saying to me there's a bit of hope for us.
Yes. I think we're playing Palace at a good time, and what I mean by that is that they've got a bit of a injury crisis, and also obviously they've got suspensions, and I think they've appealed against the suspension for
Milivojevic.
Yeah,
there's no chance they're going to get away with it.
Because he got sent off.
He headbutted the guy
on the monitor.
Yeah, the first time they've used the monitor, and that was a definite headbutt. I was watching the game and I was like, and you've got to say they lost that. They had quite a strong team out there, didn't they? And they lost that 1-0 to Derby.
And I think that
that'll be a big miss for them.
He will be a big miss because he always gets a bloody penalty against us, doesn't he? So he won't be scoring a penalty against us.
But he's also good in midfield, isn't he? He's like their Torreira, isn't he?
But I was looking at their injury list. They've got like Max Myers out, Townsend's out, Schlupp's out, Sacco's out, Scott Dan's out. They've got 3 left backs out. So much so that they're talking about having to play Coyote at left back. So they are ravaged by injury.
Mind you,
Zaha was struggling last week. Is he going to be fit this week?
The other day he went to play Bournemouth. They got this one's out, that one's out. No Callum Wilson, no Josh King. But then I get to the game. Who do I see warming up? Josh King and Callum Wilson. They're fit to play. I'll wait until I get there because I've seen it so many times.
Roy Hodgson.
All these players missing, and then they always seem to get fit for our game.
Roy Hodgson has said that he's struggling to put a team out.
I don't care what Roy Hodgson said. I don't care. They always do that, man. And then when you get there, you know, so many times I've seen it, man.
But
it the other day we played Man United? Oh, Rashford's definitely out.
Yeah.
Game starts, who do I see running down the tunnel? Rashford. Oh, yeah.
And, but Benteke might be back.
Well, he scored against us last year.
That was his last.
The only goal he scored against us.
That's his last league goal.
And sometimes it's dangerous when teams have a lot of players because, you know, again, is what Arteta said. Don't take it for granted. It's still a Premier League team.
Yeah. So I think how to beat them, right? I think we'll play the same way. I think that he'll use this. You've seen what he likes to do in build-up play with the inverted fullback, the left back, Xhaka filling in when he pushes his left fullback high with the wingers inverted as well. Aubameyang coming inside to actually create space for him. I think I've noticed teams who have Palace will sit probably. They've been playing a mixture of a 4-3-3, 4-5-1. He did flirt with a more expansive system early in the season. Hodgson a 4-4-2, but he's drifted back to this more conservative sort of 4-5-1. With obviously Zaha linking up with Ayew, but they literally sit with a mid block. But he's got problems at the back, and I think we should target that left back area if and that'd be the side that Aubameyang will be playing on.
Yep.
So and Kolasinac, so that's an area to attack them. I think I've also noticed when teams who have joy against Palace, and I've noticed Liverpool do it a lot. If you take Lacazette as Firmino, the Palace have got two old-fashioned centre halves, so normally they didn't at the Emirates because we hit them with 2 goals from set plays, didn't we? They didn't defend those set plays well, but normally Cahill and Tompkins mop up balls into the box. So what I would like to see in this game, I would like to see maybe Lacazette coming out, maybe in here. So we sort of like push up into a 4 round here. So we look to really not sort of like overload the box and get Lacazette to draw their centre halves out to create some space in behind for Aubameyang. Whoever plays on the right, Pepe, to run in behind and then get crosses in with people arriving in the box. I think, so I'm not saying play without a centre forward, but, you know, I think football's evolving now. And I think that...
Got to have a plan.
And you want a plan. And I think sometimes you want your centre forward more to be drop into a sort of false 9 position to move the centre halves around. I think that's a way to beat Palace, to actually draw them out of their shape, because otherwise they're going to sit, Robbie, in that 4, I think.
The only thing is about pressing up high against them is, as you said, you've got that Zaha with his pacing behind. Well, normally be Townsend as well. I don't know who they have on the other wing, but they've always got a lot of pace in behind, haven't they?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think where we press up high, the important thing is that the distances are right. So you've got to be compact. So if you're not going to press, you drop off, but you're still compact. So I don't think we can sit too deep low. I understand what you're saying about worrying about it, but I think if they're likely to play with, you know, just Zaha off a striker. So if you're telling me that defenders can't take care of that situation if they're playing higher, I would be worried about, you know, the quality of our defending if they can't do that. But I do believe that we should play high, keep our distances small. We're a better team, a small space team, and do what we've been doing. Play on the front foot with intensity.
Yeah, impose ourselves
on them. Because if we don't, you know, they'll want the game to go. They'll be looking for a 1-0. I think they've got problems in the fullback areas. I think Kelly has shown. I've watched Kelly lately. He gave a goal away against Southampton through switching off, and he switched off last week when the Derby scored their goal, a ball to the back stick. He switched off. So I don't think they've got great fullbacks. Cahill and Tompkins, you know, they're not veterans, but they're older fullbacks, centre halves. So I think we can get at them, Robbie, and I think we need to play on the front foot. I think Arteta will want us to play on the front foot, and I think if we play as well as we did against Man United...
we play like we did against Man United or Chelsea, we'll beat them.
I think we get the result. I mean, so Palace are struggling with injuries, and Hodgson's admitted that. So this is an ideal time to be playing Palace, Robbie.
Yeah, well, listen, let's hope we can go there and get the result. I agree with Graham. We really got to be on the front foot. Palace will probably like that because they are a real counter-attacking team. But I think, you know, I agree with what you're saying, Graham. Front foot, impose ourselves.
See, what I want is I want us up here in a 4.
Yeah.
And I want Kolasinac here, Xhaka in a 3. So when we're pressing, up high. I want us like that. 4 up high, close together, pressing them back. Give them the problem. You're saying we're worried about Zaha, but he's going to have to come back and defend.
Yeah.
So let's
Force them back.
let's play our football in their half. Let's get them worried about it. So, and I think if we do that, if we have that sort of a shape when we're sort of in possession, and of course Maitland-Niles will be coming in here into that inverted position. Kolasinac will be high. Bamrang will be coming inside, making a 2 with Laka. I think we're given problems. If we play well, I expect us to win this game. Our away record isn't great, but I think Arteta, the improvements he's made, I can see us, if we play to our ability, getting this result.
All right, well, let's hope so. Thanks for watching the show. We'll be back, of course, next week. Thank you very much, Graham, for your brilliant insight as usual. And don't forget to comment on what you think, of what Graham's saying regarding the tactics that we need to employ against Crystal Palace. Thank you.